We spend our lives believing the world is a fair playing field, yet a single clear-eyed look is enough to reveal that illusions are the most dangerous traps. We were told that kindness invites kindness, that effort is always rewarded, that everyone plays by the same rules. But reality whispers a different story, one in which only those who accept the harshness of truth become unreachable to manipulators. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. And the moment you master your inner world, you stop losing yourself in the world of others. Today, we explore 8 relentless lessons that sharpen the mind until the games of influence become almost transparent. And be warned, the 6th will change the way you evaluate every relationship in your life. Before we go further, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. It greatly supports the work and ensures you never miss anything. Chapter 1. Emotion leads. Logic follows. Our decisions are rarely born from pure reasoning. They arise first from an emotional impulse, and only afterward do we wrap them in careful rational arguments to reassure ourselves. I remember a student in Austin convinced he had invested in an expensive fitness program for its innovative methods. Yet, as we dug deeper, a more intimate truth emerged. He had just gone through a divorce, and what he was truly seeking was not training, but a place where he could feel seen and less alone. That realization had almost startled him, as if his body had spoken before his mind. You will recognize this mechanism everywhere, in online debates driven more by ego than facts, in the workplace where a simple change in procedure awakens the fear of being replaced. At times, an insignificant detail triggers a disproportionate reaction, not because it is serious, but because it strikes a sensitive chord the person doesn't even know is there. The Stoics understood this well. Visible conflicts are often reflections of silent fears. So when a storm rises within you, pause and ask yourself, what emotion is truly driving me? And what rushed decision might I regret tomorrow? Take a breath. Give yourself a moment of distance, and you will often see the urgency fade. And if someone else loses their composure, do not attack their reasoning. Acknowledge their feeling first. Sometimes, that simple recognition is enough to ease a tightened heart. This is dangerous intelligence, the ability to sense what burns beneath the surface. Chapter 2. Everyone acts in their own interest. This is neither cynical nor dark. It is simply human. Behind every action lies an interest, sometimes noble, sometimes less flattering, but always present. I think of a woman in my community, admired for her tireless generosity, until the day I learned she was preparing her campaign for a seat on the city council. Her gestures were genuine, and so was her ambition. This blend of kindness and personal objective appears far more often than we imagine, and it does not corrupt intentions. It makes them human. Understanding this changes everything. You stop feeling deceived, and you begin working with reality instead of with unrealistic expectations. You grow less bitter, more clear-sighted, and far more capable of navigating human dynamics without losing yourself. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca had already taught this. Expecting someone to naturally give up what benefits them is like fighting gravity. It is wiser to accept that each person protects what they believe is essential to their stability, their image, or their future. So instead of asking, why are they so selfish? Ask, what are they truly seeking? This single question often opens the door to more honest conversations. Find the points of alignment, and you will build agreements that endure. This is how strong alliances are born. Those that rest not on illusions, but on shared understanding. That is dangerous intelligence, the ability to read the motives beneath the words. Chapter 3. Few people can bear the truth about themselves. The truth we resist most is rarely the one spoken by others. It is the one we avoid within ourselves. Many protect their inner image at the cost of their own growth, repeating stories that keep them exactly where they are. Some cling to these stories like a lifeline, even when that lifeline prevents them from learning how to swim. I had a friend who constantly complained about being overlooked at work, blaming office politics or bad luck. Yet his late arrivals, rushed files, and tense relationships with the team told a different story. Clear signs he chose to ignore because they threatened his ego. He simply refused to hear it. The Stoics called this inner enslavement. The one who cannot see his share of responsibility condemns himself to repeat the same mistakes. They reminded us that no one can progress while protecting their comfort more than their clarity. Ask yourself the questions most people avoid. What truth am I afraid of? What criticism did I dismiss too quickly? In what area am I willingly blinding myself? Take the time to listen to the answers, even if they sting at first. They are often the most useful. And if this kind of reflection helps you move forward, consider subscribing. These messages might become your daily reminder. Sometimes, a single sentence heard at the right moment is enough to realign an entire path. Facing your own reflection without trembling does not only free you, it makes you unshakable. Chapter 4. Your success will awaken the resentment of some. You may climb each step with patience and courage, yet the moment you succeed, part of your circle will see in you not an inspiration, but a harsh mirror. For some, your progress will suddenly highlight what they do not dare to confront within themselves. I once watched a friend build his company from nothing. As long as he struggled, he was met with support and encouragement. But the day his name appeared in a magazine, the murmurs began. Jokes about how he had changed, hints that he was simply lucky. And the more he advanced, the subtler these remarks became, as if everyone needed a story to justify their own lack of movement. He hadn't changed at all. It was his success that exposed the unspoken excuses of others. Achievement has a way of illuminating insecurities we prefer to believe are dormant. Marcus Aurelius faced this daily bitterness and reminded us that happiness depends above all on the way we think. He understood that criticism naturally accompanies any rise, so do not shrink yourself to comfort those unsettled by your ascent. Keep moving forward. Let your results speak on your behalf. And remember, those who whisper today may be the first to claim they always supported you once you reach your peak. Chapter 5. Everyone is selling you something. Every interaction carries an intention, sometimes benevolent, sometimes self-serving, but always present. An old acquaintance once invited me for coffee in a warm, familiar setting. Then, almost seamlessly, the conversation shifted toward a financial opportunity she hoped to bring me into. At first, everything felt innocent, almost nostalgic. Then I realized the meeting had another purpose. She was sincere, sincerely convinced by her own pitch. In a world saturated with persuasion, clarity becomes a shield. It keeps you from confusing friendship with prospecting, help with unintentional manipulation. Like the Stoic emperors who had to decipher the hidden agendas of their advisors, learn to listen not only to what is said, but to why it is said. Sometimes a turn of phrase or a slight change in tone reveals more than the message itself. Do not be paranoid. Be awake. This calm vigilance does not undermine trust. it anchors it in lucidity. Once you understand that every gesture carries an intention, you stop being an unconscious buyer and become a discerning decision-maker. And it is often this lucidity that protects you from promises too dazzling to be true. Chapter 6. Believe people when they show you who they are. This lesson spares you years of disappointed expectations. Human beings reveal their nature constantly, through small things. The way they speak to those who have nothing to offer them, their respect for minor promises, their backstage jokes. It is often these quiet, almost insignificant details that speak the loudest. I once had a business partner who frequently exaggerated his role. I brushed it aside. Then came the inflated expense reports. Again, I brushed it aside. Until the day I discovered he was secretly preparing to push me out. In truth, every step had been a warning, but I refused to face what it implied. The signs had always been there. As Maya Angelou said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." The sentence seems simple, yet it demands a courage many are unwilling to adopt. The Stoics taught the same rule: judge repeated actions, not eloquent speeches. They understood that behavior is a silent truth. If someone betrays in the small things, they will betray in the crucial ones. And conversely, someone who protects the little matters often protects the greater ones as well. Dangerous intelligence lies in adjusting your boundaries according to evidence, not excuses. This discernment shields you from fragile alliances and predictable disappointments. Chapter 7. Comfort suffocates growth. Comfort is gentle, then it dulls, then it confines. I think of a brilliant engineer who once lived in ideal conditions: high salary, flexible hours, effortless work. Yet within a few years, his mind lost its edge, not because of hardship, but because of an excess of ease. He didn't notice the decline, because nothing hurt. Nothing urged him forward. Nothing demanded that he surpass himself. Then came the layoff, and the truth became unmistakable. What he had believed to be security had turned into a trap. That day, he realized that stagnation can be more dangerous than difficulty. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca knew this well. Strength is forged through voluntary effort, through challenges embraced. They understood that the soul contracts when it is never called upon. So choose the difficulties others avoid. Dare to speak what silence protects. Learn what intimidates you. Train your body when comfort begs you to remain still. Every gesture made against ease rebuilds a part of you. Comfort extinguishes dreams. Effort awakens them. And often, that simple awakening is worth more than all the guarantees we fear losing. Chapter 8. You will die, and almost everything you worry about doesn't matter. It is the hardest truth, and the most liberating. Death is not a possibility, but the only certainty. And when you accept it fully, 1,000 worries dissolve. Suddenly, what once felt heavy returns to its proper size, and what mattered little becomes insignificant again. I once watched a man transform after a severe diagnosis. He who had burned himself out over trivial details stopped living for appearances. He kept only what brought meaning, love, and joy. In his eyes, you could see a new kind of peace, as if life had finally become clear. The Stoics called this memento mori, not to sink into despair, but to awaken. For them, it was a call to separate the essential from the superfluous. Ask yourself, if I had 1 year left, would I still give so much importance to these arguments, these expectations, these fears? And if these concerns would not deserve your energy under a countdown, why demand it today? Would I finally live now instead of later? Subscribe if you want these reminders to meet you at each step, because the urgency to live begins the moment you realize that nothing is promised. And it is often this realization that makes every moment sharper, more precious, almost sacred. Here are 8 sharp lessons, 8 blades that cut through illusion. If you are still here, it means something in you already longs for this rare clarity. So ask yourself, will you apply it? Will you choose discipline over distraction, truth over appearance? If this journey resonates with you, share it, like it, subscribe, and leave 3 words in the comments. I choose clarity. Make it your public commitment and move through life with your eyes open.